I'm gonna try to see if I can like work with the unified feel better without, because we do have a problem doing our activity. Like there's sometimes like when I go to it was without knowing what is on the other side of anything. It's sometimes like don't know how to feel about what's happening. You know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Okay. So, but wait, like, let me see if I can interpret, like, if I get it right. For example, so I'm saying like there was a couple things like, okay, human psychology. So like there were a couple things that were like would be something that you know they're little things today, but like little things that like if you know human psychology, like right, like would be I want to say upsetting. Like this is the point, but like the point is like your thing. Like I said, a lot of it seems like it's based on like the transactional analysis type stuff. Okay, so like right. I mean, so like the indication is like would be maybe I'm there's something I'm not doing, or like you know what I mean, like something I haven't gotten right yet, like or I haven't like caught on, like there's some pressure on or something like or something like some psychological pressure on, like so to speak. Okay, but one thing, well, what haven't I mentioned? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm trying to see if that's how it works, like, rather than think, like, what are you, like, all messing with someone? Like, no, 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 no. Like, okay, so wait, I'm not doing something right. What am I missing? Well, okay, the obvious one, see, I haven't mentioned it because I was like, no, I just haven't mentioned it, and maybe that's the point. Okay, across from my room, I'm saying, whoever group is staying or whatever, like, there's what appears to be a British flag. Okay, like and I'm saying like right. I mean like is right. Right. I mean to talk about. I mean I've mentioned that like I learned from like Chomsky and also from LaRouche and also from my reading and also from because it makes sense. Like right. I mean that I'm saying like our oh, and particularly because of everything I've talked about the British banks and like the banks based in London and like why that's a part of mention why it's a part of why when we can't have any healthcare here and like okay like that kind of thing like has a lot to do with British banks. um Right, I mean, and I talked about like the Civil War at one time, and that I had read, the part of the reason, I mean, that the Southern like slaveholders, like they would, I said they never, my added thing is that they would have never tried to secede unless they had the backing of the British Empire, who wanted to keep slavery in America, and they were like the free trade. See, my understanding is about from a reading, I think that the slaveholders, like the plantation owners, were like the free trade advocates of today. Like they were content to agree with Britain that we should keep slavery and like just be like a plantation and like supply like raw materials to Britain, like the same way what we call third world countries, like what we call third world countries, like supply raw materials to the West. Like that's how Britain wanted us to be, like that, like a raw material supplier and keep slavery. Well, right. So Chomsky has said our principal economic enemy, like, has always been Britain, and right. I mean, everything we talk about with currency and why the fact that we like any government will be punished with capital flight if we ever had any health care or any growth of our economy or high or new waves of production and strong unions and the investors, and then that production would mean the investors would do well into these bubble markets, right? I mean that I'm saying I certainly haven't mentioned what the prompt will be from the British flag, but I'm saying like I don't want to like talk without like thinking before I speak about something, but I mean I want to see if I can figure your thing out better.